Good morning, good morning. I have a terrible migraine, but I am here.
We have posted the US ISM manufacturing March reports on the feed for those interested. US Treasury yields extend their rise following the ISM report shows an increase in prices paid. The 10-year yield was last up 1.7 basis points at around 4.33%.
Oh boy. Um, so here's the deal. We're probably headed up higher. We're just following our pathing. And there's not a ton here
Treasury 2-year yield hitting a session
until we
high
get to
following
this
the
node.
ISM report. They're last up 1.4 basis points.
So there's that. Hmm. Breath is still telling us that we have room on basically everything.
Seeing from sources here, Amazon assets in Bahrain are under Iranian attack.
Just like we talked about finding that dip. Just by breath. That's how we could find that 050. It's just like everything was into that sell zone. Um, Now it's just a matter of allowing this to come back up to that balance high, and then we'll figure it out from there. But if I had to guess, we'll probably head up to 300. 24, 300.
So that was reported by the Financial Times just a little bit earlier. Again, Amazon assets in Bahrain under attack.
This market is so funny, man. So stupid.
So, as a reminder, this is not the first time that Amazon's facilities in the Middle East have been attacked. They have been attacked in the UAE and Bahrain beginning of March as well.
Man, the liquidity is so poor. Yeah, it's really bad.
So, commentary from the Ryanair CEO says most fuel suppliers say that they are fine until the middle to the end of May into early June. They say early June would be when we could see disruptions if the war continues. The Ryanair CEO says the UK is a market that's the most exposed to potential jet fuel shortages. So Al Jazeera, citing the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, again to Al Jazeera, says Trump's claims that we requested a ceasefire are false.
Classic. Why is the liquidity so poor? Sucks. Well, let's see if we find a low here. With Russell finding a low into our 36 opening range and PVZ value low. It's about all we can do. God, this sucks. New 15's opening here. 5 seconds. Bid at 160 on NQ. Also, zero liquidity. Unlucky. Should be able to head up to like 190 though if this 160 can hold on NQ. With Russell finding that low into our base. Open new 15s. POC from previous candle holding. Pushing into that 190 sell side liquidity. See if we can hold above these previous highs and our value edge here. Get out of this range, or if we're going to continue to do nothing. Really want to show interest over 190 for continuation here. Back to our 160 support after our 190 rejection. Just POC retests, nothing crazy. Just flagging. POC on the daily retest here. Man, this liquidity is so bad. I can't get over it. $160 bid, still present. No change in anything that I've said. Just watching. See if we can get this continuation or if this is going to fail and then start to rotate back through our range just like yesterday when we were playing balance most of the day. Just keeping an eye on this. All right. I'd like to hear some guesses of what everyone thinks Trump's speech tonight will be. What are we thinking? You think he's going to come out and say April Fools? Do you think it's an announcement of a ground invasion? You think it's an announcement of the war is over and it was Obama's fault? Do you think he's announcing a new golf course? Do you think he's announcing that Cuba and Venezuela are going to be a new state? 60 bids still holding, rotating up into our 190. Literally no change. Just the two levels that I talked about.
Now.
Balance between the
Seeing
two.
comments from Fed's Musalem first, as he speaks to reporters here, says policy is in a good place and balancing a wide range of risks. The probability of baseline scenario has dropped, marked up core and headline inflation a few tenths for now. Says I've marked down growth forecasts somewhat due to the war as well.
New Trump bucks. Huge.
So again, we're 10 minutes away from the bottom of the hour where we see the release of the weekly EIA inventories numbers. Crude oil inventories, the forecast is a build of 2 million from the prior build of 6.926 million. The range sees a build of 4.09 million to a draw of 2 million expected. Gasoline inventories forecast a build of 2.367 million on the prior draw of 2.593 million. Distillate inventories, the prior was a forecast, is a draw of 0.053 million on the prior build of 3.032 million. Crude Cushing inventories, the prior was a build of 3.421 million. So keeping in mind, last night we saw the release of the private API stock change numbers, showed crude an unexpected build of 10 million. So more color from Iranian state TV, citing Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson again saying Trump's statements about Iran requesting a ceasefire are false and baseless.
I'm out half from 160 as we push into 190. No change in anything that I've said. Just balance in our flagging. There's your 190. I'm out 2/3 my position now into 190. See if we can get some continuation. Nothing else to do other than that. I don't know. I don't know how to. What else to say to you on that one? There's our pop. Leave runners. I gave 2 levels. We traded around those 2 levels. The only move. True. I'm done trading. Later, loser.
So, Wall Street Journal reporter on X says Trump has raised with the Secretary of State Rubio and other top aides the possibility of withdrawing from NATO if allies don't help reopen the Strait of Hormuz. This is citing a US official. He has discussed leaving NATO or at least potentially finding ways to weaken the US commitment. So, again, this is according to a Wall Street Journal reporter.
Trying to hold 190 now, our value high. Off of a hold of our POC. We're now trying to build above value high. If we can do that, should be able to head up to our ETH high with runners. I'm guessing, like I said when I got on, we'll probably head up to like here today. We'll see. Right, this liquidity is.
We are now 5 minutes away from the bottom of the hour, where we see the release of the weekly EIA inventories numbers.
Just wonderful.
Crude oil inventories forecast a build of 2 million on the prior build of 6.926 million. The range sees a build of 4.09 million to a draw of 2 million expected. Gasoline inventories forecast a build of 2.367 million on the prior draw of 2.593 million. Distillate inventories forecast a draw of 0.053 million on the prior build of 3.032 million, and crude Cushing inventories, the prior was a build of 3.421 million. 1 minute remaining. I'll lead with the EIA crude oil inventories.
40 seconds till new 15s as well as news. We are back inside value at our 190 offer. We have liquidity trapped above us on NQ. We are still holding POC of our previous candle. We are rotating between our 160 and our 190 liquidity. We are watching to see if this sell side liquidity above is offsides or if we can breach. If they are offsides, we expect that offer to now hold and a push below, right, for continuation through our range, back down to our value edge. If we can push back over, then we'll expect
10 seconds.
opener D15s and then a rotation and hold over 190 for a push into 230 to 246. So just watching, only in runners. Russell still leading up to the upside. A
build of 5.451 million, a build of 5.451 million, higher than the expected build of 2 million. Gasoline inventories, a draw of 0.586 million, a draw of 0.586 million. That's less than the expected draw of 2.367 million. Distillate inventories, a draw of 2.111 million, a draw of 2.111 million. That is, again, lower than the expected draw of 0.053 million. Crude Cushing inventories, a build of 0.52 million, a build of 0.52 million.
I don't think you should be looking for a short until you see Russell show weakness, but I want you to be aware of where we are value-wise. You need to see a very clear bid and hold, and I'd like to see this push up to 230. But if Russell finds some weakness and a loss of momentum as we fail to take out highs, then we have to look for that absorption
weekly petroleum
and then
status
that
report on the
failure,
feed for those
and then
interested.
the rotation back down to our POC at 160. Sorry, I had to let that guy finish yapping before I could speak. It's the same thing on ES and on NQ. We want to see continuation from our low hold. Again, I'm in runners from 160. Just watching for a ETH high test here on Russell, potentially. If we can hold outside of value, then we should get continuation. And then we can go on our merry way. Again, I think that we're headed to this 300 to 400 area. Just our pivot, where this big node is. Just following our pathing after that 050, and then our hold yesterday at our 500, and then rotation up into our 860. That was our full pathing that we were expecting yesterday. We are now inside this super low volume area. Really just kind of expecting us to head back up into this node. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there. Yeah. For ES, I would assume that we're probably headed up here. Oops. Yes, sorry, RTY retesting our value high. NQ and ES just incredibly illiquid. So we're getting some pretty volatile moves. But just push back down to our liquidity here after taking out highs. Just tagged into 160 liquidity once again. Immediate bid. Into our POC to value of our previous candle. Watching to see how we interact here.
So sirens are sounding in Tel Aviv for the fourth time in 15 minutes as Iran launches a larger than usual missile salvo at central Israel. US crude stocks, excluding the SPR, rose to their highest last week since June of 2023, according to the EIA.
Okay, finish your pullback, please, so that we can move on. Stopped on runners there, waiting for re-entry. Stopped at 140. They took me out. Just watching to see if we get back in on 160 test. Just looking for Russell to find a low. As soon as we do, we go up again. Lord. Brother, like all liquidity just disappeared. Back above 160, watching to see if we can now hold there on a flip, and then it'll be the same range again. Watching to see if this is going to be a little look above or if this is it. This is RTY just into VWAP. Found our low. Watching our value edge now for a potential reoffer. Watch 160 to see if bid steps in here on a look above. If it does, then it's just the same pathing and none of this matters. Good higher low so far, pushing into 190. And we are off. Just in a liquid market. Into target here.
US Vice President has been talking to intermediaries about the Iran conflict as recently as Tuesday, according to a source briefed on the matter.
So stupid. Okay. As soon as Russell
The Trump
found a low,
directed
we went
Vance
up.
to communicate privately that he
There
is
it
open to a
is.
ceasefire as long as certain demands are met, including reopening the Strait of Hormuz, according to this source. Vance delivered a stern message that Trump was impatient and warned of growing pressure on Iranian infrastructure unless Iranians make a deal.
This market is so acidine, bro. Because it's all just like algos trading off of garbage fake news. You just have to understand, like, again, like, it's just a matter of understanding, like, where it's safe to be looking for trades. So as soon as we pop back over 160, we know we're going to go right back up. There's a failure here at our POC, right? So, like, all I'm watching for is I'm looking at this as a liquidity dip because of how illiquid the market is. And as soon as Russell finds that low and we step back over, we're at least going
Top
back up
Gulf
to
aluminum producer
value high
EGA
here.
halted
And
their
I'm
smelter
hoping that
after
we
an
just go
Iran
to here
strike.
because now this liquidity is all off sides. If sell side is going to hold, we already know where we're going, guys. We're going for a POC hold on resistance and then a rotation down to 100s. What does it mean if there's no interest at POC as resistance? We're just going to rotate our already known range. So you can look for the long as soon as we flip it. There's no reason to, like, that's all it is. This just becomes trapped liquidity. So this becomes a fine trade. So just keep your stop at an invalidation level. This is just a runner. This is 5 contracts. We load contracts again, and then we just rotate up. Listen, like, if I don't. We all understand how a volume profile works. If we're going to hold and rotate the range, then POC will become resistance. Not, then we rotate up the full structure. If this isn't something that you're willing to do right now, today is not your market. It is way too illiquid. But as soon as RTY finds that low, you get your trigger for your next leg. What's up, Allie?
According to Axios reporter, discussions are taking place about a possible ceasefire between the US and Iran in return for reopening the Hormuz
215s.
Strait. So again, this is according to an Axios reporter.
Oh,
This
boy.
Axios reporter in a post on X says 3 US officials told me that discussions are taking place about a possible ceasefire with Iran in return for reopening the Hormuz Strait. The official said it is unclear if a deal can be reached.
Wow. Huge news there. Just massive, massive news. Oh, God. Can't stop yawning.
Al Jazeera citing Israeli Channel 14, saying that the current Iranian attack on Israel is the largest since the beginning of the war.
Russell retesting value edge. Watch for bounce. As soon as we get that, NQ and ES become reactive. We might do a full rotation here on NQ while we wait. Keeping an eye on it. Oh, jeez. Pushing highs here. Just took off a little bit more risk. It's into our supply. I still think we're headed to 300. Out another 2 contracts here on the look over ETHI. We'll look to see if ETHI can become supportive for that last leg up into our like 300, 330 area. Same thing with ES into our 43 target that we talked about, which is our ETHI. Russell continuing our uptrend, no change, no reason to be looking for anything other than our long trade because Russell is leading. Don't allow a wick out to change your plan. There's nothing to do other than just allow the trade to play.
Kuwait says it has extinguished a fire that erupted in fuel tanks at Kuwait airport.
Oh boy.
JP Morgan forecasts only one Bank of England rate hike this year after the interview with Bank of England's Governor Bailey, where he pushed back against rate hike expectations.
What's up, flippers? What's up, club? How you doing, man? Been all right. This market is something though. Bit sick of it. I'm moving my stop from 140 to just break even here at 175, and then putting a limit at 310 on my final contracts. I've risked off 95%. Where I am now just looking for a runner into our target at this point. I have 2 contracts left. Gonna allow this thing to play. Russell continuing to lead up, holding our ETH high. NQ and ES still just rotating up, but very awful price action, to be honest. It's just still super illiquid. But as long as Russell's continuing to lead, I just expect us to head to target slowly but surely. It is just a channel up, guys. Right? Like, it's just a channel up. President Trump is sitting in the front row of the public gallery at the U.S. Supreme Court as justices consider his order to end birthright citizenship. It's crazy the amount of pressure. He's just like just sitting there watching them. Like, okay, I guess so. Basically.
US stocks extend their gains with the S&P now up 1%.
It's crazy that we're not even landing on the moon today. We're just like we're just driving by it.
So JP Morgan expects the Bank of England to hike interest rates by 25 basis points in June from their prior forecast to hike rates in April and July.
Nasdaq 100 extending gains to 1.5% now. SIBO volatility index slips to 9-day low, last down 1.5 points to 23.77.
Oh boy.
Maersk says from Monday, the 6th of April, reefer cargo bookings will be accepted from Oman, Salah and Sohar, and UAE, Khor Fakkan, and imports only.
So this mission's supposed to be at 6:24 p.m. Eastern tonight. What's the weather looking? Where are they? Is it Florida or California? Where are we? Florida. Okay. What's the weather like in Florida today? Does it look good for it? $20 till new 15s. Picks. I want you to stream, bud.
Musk's SpaceX has filed confidentiality for IPO. According to Axios reporter, just citing what's kind of already been said, the US and Iran are discussing ceasefire for opening Strait, according to officials.
Even this guy's like, I keep having to repeat the same headline every day, every 5 seconds.
So it's just the article from the Axios reporter. We have put that article on the feed for you to read through. Again, just more detail from what was earlier said. You had 3 US officials that also said it's unclear if a deal can be reached, and discussions are taking place about possible ceasefire between the US and Iran in return for the reopening of the Hormuz Strait. US Treasury yields turn lower again in choppy trading. 10-year yields last down 1.4 basis points at around 4.297%.
Almost there. Almost to our node. Slowly but surely. Just following the plan.
Ayatollah Mustafa Khomeini on X says that they're going to continue supporting resistance against the Zionist US enemy.
A pretty unfortunate market today.
Iran's Tasnim cites Deputy Information Officer of President Office says stance on war is unchanged and we continue to defend the nation. It's getting reports here, according to The Atlantic, reporting on Wednesday, citing people familiar with that, US military officials planning potential ground assaults inside Iran, including targeting Karg Island, seizing enriched uranium sites. Also from the report said that operations would require approval from Trump and would involve deploying troops on Iranian territory. Those familiar with the option said putting US troops inside Iran would rank among the most dangerous missions of Trump's presidency and warned that operations would not necessarily end the war quickly or secure broader objectives such as regime collapse or reopening the Hormuz. MSC says from the 1st of May 2026 until further notice, EFS will be applicable to all cargo and trades from Asia to the USA and Canada.